This is the Ghostcat F3 Pro e-bike. It's a motocross-inspired e-bike with a lightweight aluminum frame and a super long travel suspension in the back, a 1500-watt motor that makes 140 newton meters of torque. And that motor is made by a company called XOFO. Not sure how you pronounce that, but there's the numbers on the motor if you want to look it up. It is geared for torque. So this thing, they really designed it so that it would take off quick. And it really, you can out-accelerate your friends, I think, on similarly powered bikes. Comes with foot pegs if you want to take a passenger or do wheelies. 7-speed Shimano gears on the back there. There's that, look at that long swing arm. And then you get this D&M burner shock that's super long and has a ton of travel. It's got a compression adjustment at the top on the blue knob there, and then that red knob there is the rebound adjuster. So it is fully adjustable, and then you can screw down the pressure on the spring as well to make it ride higher and have more or less spring pressure. And you can see there's a ton of bounce in that shock, so you're floating on a cloud when you ride this thing. The battery is 52 volts, 20 amp hours, and it's got little stickers with pictures of ghost cats on it. So you can, as an upgrade, you can buy various different sticker panels that match the color of your bike, depending on the style of bike or color that you choose. For example, here's another, like a psychedelic camo sticker that you could put on there instead of the ghost cats if you wanted to do that. And these stickers are super thick, so it does provide a layer of protection for your battery as well. And the front fork has 80 millimeters of travel, and it has a spring tension adjuster on the left side and then a compression adjuster on the right side. So it's a little better than your basic non-adjustable fork. I've had these forks on other bikes and they work fine. The spring on the left and the compression on the right. There's a little tank bag that comes with it there, Rock Bros tank bag that they throw in with the bike to keep your stuff. And then this seat is a custom seat. So this would be an upgrade if you wanted to buy this instead of the standard seat. It's made by a company called Tapia, which is one of the bigger e-bike aftermarket seat companies. So it's a very comfortable custom seat. It goes the full length of the frame and it's flat, so you can really pick your position. You can move forward or backward and gives you a lot of seating options. And it's available in various color schemes to match whatever color your bike is. It has wide mountain bike style handlebars, and the brakes are hydraulic 4-piston jobs with a 203 millimeter rotor on it. And they work fine. There is the Shimano shifter there, and it does have a twist throttle, so a full twist throttle like a real motorcycle, and that brake lever controls the front brake, so it's motorcycle style braking. The right brake is the front, and then the left brake is the rear. Pretty standard e-bike controller there with a color display that shows you all the important details. And the tires are 20 by 4.0 inch Chaoyang Big Daddies. And there is a round LED headlight in the front with a protective grille on it, and on the back you've got a brake light / tail light. And they are very bright at night. Now let's get into the test ride part of the show. So look at my butt here. So with my feet up about 15 miles an hour, you can see my butt does not move. Those shocks actually absorb all of the shock of going over that speed bump. This is what it looks like going off a jump. So you can see that there's a lot more travel than you'd get on most full suspension e-bikes. I just wanted to point that out over and over and over again here with slow motion shots of the suspension really doing its job. You can see it's super plush. And I had the compression and rebound set to the softest settings for this test. And you can see, so if you're just ripping down the road and you just want to huck it off the side of the road into the gravel by the train tracks, no problem. 30 miles an hour on gravel, no problem. And my butt is on the seat. This angle gives you a real good idea of just how hard the suspension is working and how well it works. You can see I'm just kind of floating on a cloud there while the wheels are taking a serious beating. This is unlocked full throttle acceleration, no pedaling with a stopwatch. So it goes 0 to 20 right about 5 seconds. And then to get to 30 miles an hour, it takes, come on, you can do it, right there, 11 seconds to get to 30. And it tops out around 36 miles an hour. And then if I take it down a hill and do full throttle, it can go just over 40 miles an hour before it doesn't want to go any faster. And what about hill climbing? Well, we go to the end of the earth here, which is a super steep hill coming back from the beach. It's a long, steep hill that I use to test all my bikes. So this is full throttle up the hill. So even at this incline, it really does take off pretty quick. And honestly, with the 750 watt motor bikes and even some of the 52s that I've tested up this hill, if you get into double digits, like 12 or 13 miles an hour, you're doing great. And this thing is the fastest bike I've taken up this hill. So if we lean in so you can read the read the speedometer. You can see I'm at 18 miles an hour, 17, 18. So this one definitely wins the uphill drag race. You can see as I'm heading towards the top of this hill, I'm going to hit 20 miles an hour, which I have never done on this hill on an e-bike before. So definitely has the power to pull you up a hill and drag race your friends as well. But what if you want to get some exercise? Can you put it in pedal assist 0 and pedal it like a regular bike? Sure you can. Is it fun? No. If you feel like a bear riding a tricycle, really honestly, no fault of this bike. Any one of these moped style e-bikes, if you're trying to pedal it all by yourself, it's just your seat is too low and it just doesn't work. So you can pedal it yourself, and I was able to get it up into double-digit speeds here on the bike path, but definitely not fun and not something I would choose to do unless I was the battery was dead or something was broken. I think that's probably the only time I'll ever pedal this bike. And it handles great, corners great. I really like the way it handles. Even though I've got it set up super squishy, I think I could get better handling out of it if I dialed up a little actual shock absorption into the shocks, but I prefer just to have the comfortable ride. But even with that, it handles great. So because it has that long travel suspension that works really well, and it's got that great acceleration, it's a great commuter bike, especially in a place like LA where there's always detours and road construction and the holes in the street and just frightening stuff everywhere you go. You feel like you're floating on a cloud. Like I think if you were riding a hardtail bike or even like a cheaper version of a full suspension bike, you just wouldn't have this kind of comfort. For example, if we take a look at the pavement on Aviation Boulevard here, where I would be riding, you'd have to ride kind of in the gutter there over all of these bumps. So if that was your commute, you could see the suspension would have its work cut out for it. But fortunately, that's what this bike is built for, to suck up the bumps and make your butt happy on your way to work. Now, in terms of range, during my torture test here, the battery little indicator there turned red at 30.2 miles. And this is what full throttle acceleration looks like while the battery is in the red in pedal assist 1. So I kind of like pedal assist mode 1 because it caps your speed at 20 miles an hour. So if you want to just kind of cruise around and not break any laws, you just put it in 1 mode. But you can see it still accelerates strong even though the battery's almost dead. And I was able to make it home. And in my driveway, I ended up exactly at 31 miles when I put it on the charger, and there's still a little sliver of red left in the battery. And I should mention that Ghostcat is a real company in California with a physical location we can go take a demo ride. A lot of these e-bike companies are in some other country or you don't know where you can contact somebody. This is the owner and they do tech support, help, and repair. So my overall impression, I really like the style. The suspension is my favorite part of the whole thing. Just the way that it glides over all the bumps, smooths everything out. I like the seat. I wish I had tried the standard seat so I could tell you the difference, but this seat is definitely comfortable, enough room to move forwards and backwards so you can change your position. That rear shock rules. It really smooths out the ride and you can just float over everything. The front shock is serviceable. It obviously worked in the slow motion videos that I put up of me going over bumps, but if I was going to buy this bike, I'd probably go ahead and pay the extra $300 or $400 to get the better shock, just to have a full, like a beefier shock that has more adjustability and more travel. You get more travel on the upgraded shock as well. And streetable tires. If you buy the upgraded one, you get streetable tires, though these do fine. Kind of remind me of the BFTs, which a lot of people hate the BFTs. So these are the Chow Yang version of that. I don't know if they're any better or worse or more or less likely to get punctures, but it's just a super fun bike. I like the power and especially like the ride. And when I'm talking about an upgraded version, for $400 more, you can get the F3X version that has a different number plate and headlight and longer travel suspension and streetable tires on it. I made a separate review video of it that you can watch. I'll put a link in here for it. People on the Facebook group, some of them are complaining about the fenders that are so tiny. So you can definitely replace them with generic fenders. The back one is held on by 2 bolts. So if you find a fender that has a 2-bolt mounting system, that would work for that. And then this one, there's 1 bolt up here, standard kind of generic fender placement. And then there are threaded holes on both sides of the fork right there. So if you had a fender that had a stay coming off the back, you could put that on here to replace the standard one and get more coverage. So overall, I'd say I'm very impressed with this bike, especially at the price point being just a little over $2,000. I don't think you can find a better performing bike that's this good all the way around at that price point. So that I would call that a big win. If you're interested, use the link in the description and use my coupon code HooHoo to save $50 on this bike. Thanks for watching. Comment, like, subscribe, and ride safe.